Yesterday, the Fed Reserve Chairman reiterated his previous statement that the US economy is currently in a remarkably tip-top shape. Besides, yesterday in France, the government received a vote of no confidence from Parliament for the first time since 1962. Remarkably, the end of the year, even such bastions of stability as Germany, France, Japan, and South Korea have been engaged in a political turmoil. Commonly said jitters only increase the investment appeal of the US dollar as a safe haven asset. On the other hand, the jump of the US dollar driven by the so-called Trump trade has largely been priced in by the markets, and this means it's time to focus more closely on the economic reports. Key data for the Fed Reserve regarding employment growth in the US labor market is set to be released on a Friday. As a result, the US dollar 6 currency index opened today, consolidating within the daily range of 106.00 to 106.40. The dollar's retreat was partly triggered by Wednesday's economic reports, which showed a sharp decline in service sector activity from 56 to 52 points. Moreover, the ADP report looked a drop in private sector employment in the United States. Hiring in private businesses was expected to reach around 180,000, but the actual figure was only 146,000, and this is clearly not enough to maintain labor market stability. This slight weakness in the US dollar allowed the euro to recover some of its earlier losses. As a result, its price continues to hold above the critical level of 1.0500. However, this relief may be short-lived and any rise in the euro-dollar pair will hardly be significant. Firstly, the euro is weighed down by political uncertainty in the two leading EU countries, Germany and France. The odds are that France will remain without a functioning government for several weeks and even months. In this scenario, pressure on the business and consumer confidence will only intensify. And secondly, the ECB president warned during parliamentary hearings on a Wednesday that economic growth in the Eurozone might slow down in the coming months. Christine Lagarde also stated that the regulator's desired inflation target has not been achieved yet. As a result, markets are not ruling out the possibility of another rate cut by the ECB on December 17. An equally realistic scenario suggests that the ECB could soon put an end to further rate cuts altogether. Current statistics support this possibility. For instance, producer prices in the Eurozone declined from a minus 3.4% to minus 3.2% in October, defying expectations of a deeper decrease to minus 3.5%. This indicates that inflation in Europe is indeed losing steam, but at a much slower pace than earlier forecasts had predicted. Additionally, data from Germany also exceeded expectations in a positive sense. Instead of falling to minus 2%, the decline in factory orders in the German economy slowed to just a minus 1.5%. The euro opened with a moderate growth today. The euro-dollar pair is trading within the range of 1.0511 to 1.0549. However, the instrument failed to make any decisive move toward either growth or decline. After testing the support level of 1.0477 yesterday, the euro managed to hold above this technical line. It even surpassed their high from December 3, and the euro-dollar pair extended this short-term uptrend on early Thursday. The price repeated yesterday's breakout above the resistance level of 1.0540. If the instrument maintains ongoing upward momentum, the bull's main target could be the technical resistance at 1.0597. In the opposite scenario, sellers would need to not only break through the support level of 1.0445, but also consolidate below this line by the late New York session. In that case, starting from tomorrow, the euro might go through sell-offs with primarily targeting the lower range of 1.0321 to 1.0293. Of course, the primary driving force in the main currency pair will remain the US dollar, and its rate will be determined by statistics reflecting the conditions in the US labor market. For instance, today's weekly data on initial jobless claims did not favor the US dollar. The number came in slightly higher than estimated in a theory confirmed labor market weakness. And this serves as an argument for the Fed Reserve to cut the funds rate in December, given the euro reason to sustain its growth for now. However, an even greater impact on the markets will come from the report on the US non-farm payrolls. You can find information on release times and the influence of economic statistics on forex instruments in our regular video traders calendar. While the euro is struggling to maintain its position under the pressure of a political crisis, benchmark oil prices seemingly should be rising. After all, the news is favorable for oil. US crude stockpiles recorded the sharpest decline since August, over 5 million barrels. Besides, according to rumors, OPEC and its allies plan to postpone increasing oil production by another 3 months. In practice, oil prices have sharply declined, with the Brent falling to the mark of $72 per barrel. And the catalyst was a data showing US production reaching record levels, and this highlights a simple fact: OPEC's share of the global energy balance is steadily shrinking. So what remains critically important is future consumption, which will partly depend on the state of the United States labor market as well. With tomorrow's release of the November non-farm payrolls, the market is likely to consolidate around the current levels today. As anticipated, after a nosedive, the Russian ruble had a minor rebound, followed by a consolidation phase, albeit at a new, weaker levels. And notably, the Russian ruble tends to remain in this state for extended periods, potentially even several months. However, the seasonal factor of the year-end should be taken into account, as the ruble traditionally weakens during this time. Therefore, the consolidation is likely to last no more than a week before the ruble begins to gradually lose its value once again. And so that's all for today. We keep monitoring the financial market situation. Please subscribe to our channel and follow news with us. And see you very soon. Meanwhile, Bitcoin topped the landmark level of $100,000. And this happened exactly after Thanksgiving Day.